one of the things that really stood out to me is that everyone's in it. Like if you're a electronic OEM that's not doing something with glasses, I think you're late, and you might start getting to the point where it gets hard to catch up. All right, Jared. Well, good to see you again.
Yeah.
We were just hanging out in Las Vegas at CES together. Now I'm back in snowy Chicago, and you're in what is it? Cloudy,
Sunny Palo Alto.
Palo Alto.
Exactly. Beautiful day today. Yeah.
Beautiful. This is what it's supposed to be like in winter. It's been like 50 degrees and like cold there, and now it's like it's the way that's supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
So Vegas, it was quite a year. How many times have you been, by the way?
I've been at least 10 times.
Okay.
And I've seen it evolve over that. That hasn't necessarily been 10 consecutive years, but I've been going there for probably 15 in terms of the, over the time period, right?
Yeah, I think I'm in about that same boat. So I'm curious, what did you notice? Like you've been for more than a decade to CES, or at least 10 times spread out. What was new, different this year?
Well, if you look at the trend of CES over that time period, I mean, it's gone from, it used to be Comdex, right? But it's gone from software and TVs and consumer electronics and computers. And then it went through an automotive phase. I don't know if you remember that, where like
one whole hall of cars. Yep.
Row of cars out in the, tents out in the parking lot. And it's interesting. What I saw this year, I spent a little bit more time on the floor than I have in the past, is that so much of it is about wearable technology and what NuCurrent has been talking about for years, since before I joined the company, which is what we call the race to the face, right? Yep. Where we're, all these wearable technologies, but smart glasses in particular. It was stunning the number of companies that are jumping into that, all the way from, social audio glasses to hearing assist glasses to AR to translation to all kinds of things. Yeah. It's so many players jumping in.
Like everybody. It's not, that's made, we've been calling it like a couple of years that this race for the face is on. But one of the things that really stood out to me is that everyone's in it. Like if you're a electronic OEM that's not doing something with glasses, I think you're late, and you might start getting to the point where it gets hard to catch up. Really cool technology tool. I saw a lot of like disruptors, like not the big names, that you would associate with, Megatech or big brand OEMs, but like there's a lot of smaller companies doing some pretty cool stuff too. Did you see any like differentiated products there? Did you see anything that you thought was unique or special?
Well, certainly the hearing technology that EssilorLuxottica was launching this year, I think, is unique compared to a lot of the other implementations because of the purpose of it and what it's trying to do for people with mild to moderate hearing loss. And so where they're really putting all that technology into that to address that particular problem.
Agreed.
And I looked, there was a very, very popular booth called RoKid.
Yep.
There was a lot of people there doing, I couldn't even get in line to go and see the demo, but they're doing some really cool things with AR, and there was clearly a lot of buzz around that. So these companies are really starting to position and differentiate themselves in terms of what the applications are going to be.
Yeah. And I think what RoKid had, and a few others had it. I can't remember if it was Vuzix. What was the one right when you walked in Central Hall, right to the right?
X-Real
had it too. Yep, X-Real, exactly. They have the heads-up displays. And so like where you're seeing, so clearly, and we've talked about this in other segments, Ray-Ban Meta is in the pole position right now. I mean, those are the smart glasses that are fashionable. The technology is mostly hidden. It really provides like value through the AI agent you can use, through the cameras, through the speakers, through the microphones. So, but that doesn't have a display. And so what I think was really interesting about the RoKid and the X-Real and a few others is the idea of basically these mini green screens that kind of project out about 2 meters in front, or it looks like is projecting 2 meters in front of you, so that you can read your text messages, you can look at your whatever stocks, you can it's mostly text right now. These aren't like, it's not like looking at your phone, but you can get text notifications. So I agree that was pretty cool. And I think there's a a little bit of a division between companies building hearing assist technologies like Nuance Audio, which is actually getting certified as an FDA device. So it'll be a medical device for hearing assist, or Ray-Ban Meta that's putting the technology in that we talked about, but without displays. And then you can tell, I bet next year when we go, Jared, there's going to be like major step forward advancements in the displays because they're not great.
No,
cool.
they're not quite
great. Yeah.
But you can get the idea from looking at them. I saw a number of those. And it's clearly very exciting to people. So.
Yeah. Cool. Well, so glasses 100%. Like right when you walk in, right on the marquee, it says of the main Las Vegas Convention Center. We'll put up the graphic when we put this video out, but it's an advertisement for a company, and the only product picture are smart glasses. I mean, this was basically the smart glasses race to the face convention. So the other things though I noticed a lot in gaming, really cool gaming stuff. Oftentimes there's some cool gaming stuff at CES, but I was really turned on by some haptic things. So I saw a vest and gloves and things that you can wear on your body that lets you feel the game, like rumbles, gunshots, stabs. I don't know how realistic you want those to be, but like where you can feel the game and really get immersed in these alternate universes. So I thought that was cool. Was there any other market that kind of, other than smart glasses, gaming, anything else that stood out to you?
Well, broadly in wearables, and some of them were assistive technologies, some of them were experience technologies. Like that haptics example you gave, that's actually a wearable, really, in a big sense, right? And the same thing in it. It has power in it, and these things vibrate. But I saw a lot more creativity in that. There's a lot of rings out there right now.
You're right. Yeah.
So many things. And what's really fascinating to me, I mean, that's not necessarily a new application, but it's what they're doing with it, and the sensors and the different, health biometrics, and then coming up, neuro sensors. They're going to be able to do EEG. It's really, really cool what these companies are doing.
Yeah. So. I agree. There are tons of rings. It was really hard for me to distinguish which ones are kind of just commoditizing and following, or like there's one company that was just making it out of actual gold, and like that was their differentiator. But I can't tell if it's like just Aura copycats or if they are doing very novel things. So I'm sure some have these new sensors, and it will be interesting to see where that goes. Let's talk about the wireless charging side. What did you notice at about the wireless charging presence at CES?
So it's definitely more present this year than when we went last year. It's definitely more part of the experience. What I think is interesting is that because we're talking about wearable products, smart glasses, rings, other wearable products, obviously the user experience is extremely important, and charging is part of that experience. And so what I saw was some pretty good implementations of wireless charging, some not so good implementations of wireless charging. And I think I think in some ways that detracts from the user experience. And so if there's ways to improve that, and we know that there are ways to do that because we've been doing this for so long, that a really solid implementation of that makes such a difference. But we're clearly seeing wireless charging in many different forms and a lot of different interesting products coming up. They're finding different ways to charge them.
What are some examples of some of the products that are coming out that, it's hard to surprise us because we know when they're coming out usually, but like that might be surprising to other people. What are some of the products that come to mind?
Well, there's like everyday use products like your coffee cup or, other devices that you may use in your kitchen or that are part of your everyday experience. I mean, wireless charging on toothbrushes has been around a long time, but we're now seeing that show up in ways that can, not just replace wired charging, but can actually improve the overall experience because it's giving you some more freedom in that.
Yeah. So where, every year I've only gone because of wireless charging. And so what I've noticed the changes, just like you said, I mean, it's in a lot of places now and in a lot of different products. When we were first going, I was literally putting on a Wireless Power Consortium, shirt and working the Wireless Power Consortium booth, and then taking it off and go to the Alliance for Wireless Power booth because it was basically just being evangelized as new technology. And there were just some booths of people with employees from Texas Instruments, NuCurrent, Intel working those booths. And now it's like every other booth or every third or fourth booth will have something that, has wireless charging in it, as maybe a demo. It's not ready for production, or, should. And when you talk to the people working the booth, they're like, oh yeah, 10 people today have told me that like they should have wireless charging.
Exactly.
So we're like, well, here's my business card, let us know if we can help, that type of thing. So I think the major needs that I was seeing, aside from the scale of adoption, was the need for smaller, more seamlessly integrated solutions. So for largest flat objects, let's say phone chargers or like battery packs for phones. I mean, those were everywhere, and they use Qi 2. It's ubiquitous. It's a perfect fit. It clips onto the back of your phone. It's perfect. So that ubiquitous technology is like just being, pumped out. Where people are struggling a little bit is on these like different form factor wearables, where maybe that's a ring, maybe it is glasses, maybe it's a fitness band, maybe it's something that goes into the strap, like a belt or something like that. That's a little bit harder for people to envision because they just think about wireless charging as being, one size fits all. If it's not the size and the shape of a phone, I can't put it in. And so we've had many conversations with companies, including one company, Jared, I don't think we should probably talk about here. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but we'll keep this PG. But like, form factor objects where you're like, hey, Qi doesn't fit, and that's fine. There's still ways to do great inductive power transfer safely, inexpensively, well integrated, invisible technology. So definitely I feel good about where we are as a company, because what we develop is the need continues to grow. The awareness about it continues to grow. And the application areas just are booming.
Absolutely. And in particularly those small devices, whether it's earbuds or, the small electronics and the stems of your smart glasses. I think when you have the conversation with folks, that you can see the light bulb come on when you talk about the design freedom that you get from putting in wireless power compared to wired power. Mm-hmm. We know for a fact that pogo pins in glasses or a lot of different products limits what you can actually do in terms of alternate shapes, materials, and designs, basically, to give you more flexibility on that. So I visited a lot of booths while I was there of different companies, and it's interesting when you have that conversation, because sometimes they hadn't really thought about that aspect of it. Or it seems hard, or can you make it that small? And it's like, yeah, you can actually do it. And it's going to give you a completely different experience, and the user's a different experience. So that's an important vector in this conversation.
Yeah. Opportunity abounds. All right. Rapid fire. Did you play any slots?
No. I'm not a gambler.
Yeah, me neither. Didn't even touch it. What's your best meal?
My best meal was a nice steak at Smith & Wollensky. That was
nice. All right, classic. And coolest technology award, the Jared Smith 2025 CES award goes to?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It really is in the smart glasses element. I'd say it's probably X-Real. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Very cool. And your tip for next year, what would you, anyone that is going to attend next year, what's your savvy veteran tip for them for attending CES?
So drink less. You'll have more energy when you're on the floor. That's something that we veterans have all learned. But definitely try to hit all the venues that you can. And because what I found is when you go to the South Hall or the Central Hall, or you're over the Venetian and looking at all the booths in there, I mean, it's amazing how big it is. There's just so much variety, and it's not, they don't necessarily cluster things all in the same place, right? You can look around. So I just found companies and technologies I had never heard of before. So yeah. I think don't spend all your time in the big flashy booths, right? Because there's so much more to see.
Yeah, just to wrap it up on a similar note, I have been relatively unimpressed with CES in previous years. I'm kind of tired of seeing like a little bit bigger and a little bit brighter TVs, you know, from basically
Exactly.
Samsung. It's got kind of boring. And this year I felt cool technology again. I felt like companies were really putting it out there with stuff. Maybe it's related to AI because a lot of these things are leveraging AI, you know, like AI helpers in your glasses. But there's something going on where or maybe it's the distance away from COVID. Maybe the world restarted and innovation picked up again. And this is when we're starting to see them. But there was more innovative, cool products that I saw this time, I think, than I ever have at CES. And so it was, you know, it was a breath of fresh air. Like, I'm actually excited to go next year. And it usually takes me till about December 15th leading up to CES to even say, all right, I'm definitely going to do this. You know, I usually resist it. This time I'm ready to, you know, book it and go again because there was some really cool stuff this year. So I appreciate your feedback. I appreciate you sharing with everybody. And, you know, we'll see what the industry brings for 2025.
Yeah, it's exciting. Thanks.
Take care.